Hey, the journey started in 2018, around 2018, 2019. Took more than 13 players to Europe, specifically uh, Turkey for a football showcase whereby you understand they were sponsored and carried along. It was a very sacrificial, you understand, period, and had a partner, Sunny, a very lovely guy who wanted, you understand, to see the development and the well-being of players, and he joined, you understand, to combine with the sponsorship of these players. Sacrifice, to lay things for these players. Even took a loan to help, you understand, you know, uh, get to our destination, and took these players, covered everything for them. Even when we arrived our destination, we have to now get, you understand, to Turkey because one or two plans that have been put in place by the organizers being fought through. And fortunately, you understand, for us, we have uh, a multiple visa that we had. So will make us, you understand, to and are going to northern Cyprus, you have to go, to Turkey, whereby we're not anchor and you know carried apartments, you understand, for the players to get to position them in various clubs, in different clubs, whereby invited scout from Sweden and Norway to come and watch them, in training as well. We get a couple of, you understand, players to go on trials. Antalya Sport, by one of the players, you understand, Victor was, as sent him to Antalya Sport. And getting to Europe, you know how it is, you understand, in Nigeria before you leave is a very daunting and challenging, you understand, place. And you don't know those, you understand, that are fighting you coming behind you that you don't even understand what your future holds because you have so negative people and evil minded. They are chasing and pursuing you, you understand, in the dark. But when you're in Christ Jesus, those things, you understand, doesn't apply because you become stronger to overcome those things. But when you are young and vulnerable and you don't know the path, you have to live wisely. So when this was going on trials, Victor said, listen, don't tell anybody back in Nigeria. Just go quietly on your trials. You are with the club. Once you sign your pro contract, okay, then you'll be able to, tell people back. But was very excited being with the team and actually, did well in his couple of days of his trials. And they called me that they were about to, you understand, sign. And those excitement, you understand, got to him and started posting pictures back to Nigeria, telling those that were not supposed to tell because you don't know who is who. And suddenly, after about almost a week or so, the story, you understand, unfolded, unturned, and he said a breach of credential stuff, club policy, all the excuse here and there. Couldn't make the boy sign professional contract. Outstanding player, quality player, fantastic player that would actually understand, get to the national team. So, I was mad with him as well, but hey, life has to go on. And that is why it couldn't happen, so for Victor. Then we got the other one that I'm gonna really concentrate on, um, which is Michael Ologo. I have kept this in aside for many years. They really want to get into it at the right, appropriate time. But I think this is the time. So people know my foundation because their stories came back, and a lot of people doesn't understand, about the story. So I will set the record straight nicely to see how, you know, uh, my sacrifice, my effort, my compassion, and everything. You understand? was jeopardized and squashed, losing almost 250,000 euros because of that player. Then the next one would be my adopted son, who uh, I picked up from the gutter. I would say, you understand, without parents, I have to take care of him like a son until the Lord put in my heart to adopt him. And that one as well got to Europe, so big pride. Another thing came in and did his own thing. So countless of the ones, you understand, that we've worked with over the years, and how, you understand, having my club, and you get a couple of players in clubs. But the most important
Guys,
thing
give me a
is for me
thumbs
to
up,
succeed.
okay,
Really,
if
when you help
you
somebody, somebody
are
come back and say
enjoying
thank you,
this
for what you've
video
done, rather
clip.
than picking
Please
their
give me a
nose.
thumbs up
You understand the
and
issue. So
subscribe,
anyway,
share,
anything that we
and
did it for
follow.
good, but it's good to
Please the notification bell
know
as well.
the
Just
ins and
hit the
outs as well.
notification
So
bell right there
I'm just gonna
as well,
stop here
so
for
you'll be able
today.
to
Please visit my
get
YouTube channel, because
information
I'm talking
for
much now
the
about my
next
book, Mind
video.
Art Direction.
Thank you.
I'm using my book, to create awareness and to raise funds for the project that I'm doing. In Nigeria, two communities have given me 12,000 hectares of land, and we have a sponsor or a standby that want to invest $600 million in it. But any penny will not come out until all the documentation and everything, you understand, in the land is ready. We are in the, battle line, you understand, or the almost touching to the, finishing line with some little hurdles and challenges because of the government, that they have to issue licenses, permits, so workers can work in the site, 247, and the testing of the soil, because you're going to create an agriculture, and a lot of things that has to be done. And I want, everybody to come on board, every Nigerian, wherever you are, and you want the development of our country rather than waiting for the government. Okay, they will not do anything for us. Majority of the leaders, 99.9999% of leaders in Africa, they are for their pocket. So if you're looking for those that are compassionate, they're compassionate for their family, for their people, alone, not for the common man or for the less privileged. And another thing that I want to do is that over the years, after sending those players there, I have, a couple of players that really wanted to get to Europe with their funds and finance. And that is another area I'm going to touch on. Some succeeded, in Europe right now. Some did not. And this need to talk about this in my next uh, episode. So we'll be able to, highlight one or two things and make some people, to dodge some hurdles. And me, I'm taking my time out of that angle, because I wanted to concentrate on more talented players that will be able to, you know, get funding for. And so get funding for those ones that are less privileged, those that are orphans that have talent that can really get them, to the level that they need to get to. That is what God has put in my heart. I kind of did my own thing, want to deviate because I have compassion to want to help everybody, that have funds. Whether you have money or not, you understand. Sometimes, football might not be for you. And I get to understand that. So things, don't fall through a little bit for some people. Anyway, we're gonna get that in my next phase. So please like, share, follow. Please share this. I want you to understand every Nigerian around the corner of the world to understand what I am doing currently, and those that can support, those that can help, give advice, guidance, put heads together. Nigerian are very good people. We still have the bad ones as well, but I need those, you understand, that are really compassionate. Okay, let your kind-hearted speak out this time, whereby we'll be able to create jobs, for and the youths, for the men that are able, and part of the infrastructure that we're going to be building a hospital, and that hospital we be free for the community elderly. The elderly in the community, we have free medical care. Okay, and the people in the state, we have 10%, sliced, whereby my charity, Fresh Talent Youth Foundation, will be able to cover part of medical care. Working towards that, that is what we want to achieve. Uh, I'm privileged to be where I am, and I want to give God all the praise and thanks. Even though things, are challenging, we're gonna rise up, but we're gonna get there. Once that succeed, everybody will succeed. If you come on board, we succeed. There are other parts, that everybody has to play in that part. But for now, I need your support. Let's build Nigeria, because those in diaspora, we want to go home, we want to go to a better place. But we want to see things happen, and we want to avoid too much people just pouring into Europe, migrants, you understand? And some died on the way with difficulty, just like me. My book is all about me leaving Nigeria without a passport. I left Nigeria without a passport. I know what I went through. So thank you for your support. Those that are supporting and following right now, please, really appreciate it. And I want to thank you. By the time this project, you understand, comes alive, you will be glad and be proud that you were part of it. And those that have money tied somewhere, please, please, we need your support. Come if you want to get more information in regards to the project. Okay, reach out to me directly. You will see my info and details. Get in touch, please. Send an email. We'll always reply and respond. If you want to know more detailed, documentation and things like that, please reach out. I'm based in the UK. I think most people, you understand, diaspora. You can catch up with me in the UK. Meet, you understand, in a very organized area. And if I'm in Nigeria, Nigeria is very dicey, so I'm really, careful in terms of, you understand, things coming from Nigeria, but only prominent and really dedicated people from Nigeria, and as well as the story and the journey will be uh, shared as well. I will share my story. I've started already. I think we're in chapter 2. So please, 7 p.m. 7 p.m. is when I go live. So we'll be able to talk about my book, How I Left Nigeria from Prison. I was trying to um, with a crime I did not commit. After I finished from there, God used somebody to sort everything. You understand? Sort it outside. Left Nigeria without a passport in quest to succeed and to become a professional player. It was a journey through the desert, and don't want young talent, young people to take that journey. It is suicidal. It is risky. It is draining. A lot of people have died. Few succeeded, but I'm part of the privileged ones, and I just want to say, come along, guys. Come along. Okay. Thank you so much for your help and your support. I really appreciate it. I will see you in my live video. Please, you can get this book on Amazon. You can get it in Amazon. Please order the book. Order the book so we can look at it through. You're using it to support the charity, okay, and support the foundation. And helping in, because I'm going to be doing a lot. Going to Nigeria back and forth, it's challenging and it's expensive as well. So let's complete the task of the documentation. Then once the foundation and everything is about to start, I'll carry everybody along. Thank you, guys. Fresh talent, football, development, and performing arts. Please, our club competes in the NNO League in Nigeria. Fresh talent. We're going to be recruiting players into camp, whereby we're going to start the real preparation and everything, for the league. Well structured this time. There's not going to be back and forth. So, and every other area of players, that have traveled in time, please reach out to me. Anything that will need to be addressed, would need to be addressed personally, reach out to me. Very important. And yeah, that is it for now. I don't want to go past 15 minutes bracket. I want to be there. Oh, but we're gonna.
Yeah, thank you guys for staying this far and watching this video this far. Please It's gonna be the second video. You can follow it from there. And these are the players that we started with back in 2018-19. So the set that went to Turkey, and one or two there have made it as a professional player. Thank you guys.